Well, it's good to be back with you. Some great interviews taking place this week. Coach Kevin O'Neill, former Vince Carter coach when he coached for the Toronto Raptors. We have Tommy Brennan coming on tomorrow. Jeff Perlman, author, coming on Friday as well. And right now, joined by Mike Brown of Hoop Culture. Mike, great to have you on.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
So we first met at a basketball tournament. You walked into the gym. You were not tall like a lot of basketball players are presumed to be, but you could handle the rock. How old were you when you started to play basketball?
I believe I was like in third or fourth grade.
What was it about basketball that kind of drew you in? And did you play other sports when you were young?
Yeah, I started playing baseball. I think I enjoyed basketball simply because I could just play by myself. I could practice in the yard. I could get better with just a ball and a hoop. Unlike baseball, where you needed someone else to throw it with you, I was an only child. So basketball, I could take it and just go and play.
So was that kind of your escape basketball? I know for a lot of people, it was that one-on-one time that they could just get out and do something. Did that free your mind, or how did that? I know about the basketball courts called a sanctuary for us basketball junkies. When did that hit where it was just a freeing time for you instead of a chore that you had to do?
Yeah, I want to come up with a some sort of design with Sanctuary because it truly is like what it did for my life. I was always looking for a way to fit in and to be accepted, and basketball was one of those opportunities where I received the accolades. I was able to really work hard and perfect my game. And I just enjoyed it and fell in love with it so much. I mean, it was always from the beginning a sanctuary for me, a place to escape the situation I was in growing up. It was a way out of that life.
Now, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Springfield, Vermont, fairly small town. Like I said, I was an only child at the beginning. My mom was just raising me, and we didn't have a lot.
And where did you end up playing college basketball?
So after high school, I ended up going to Southern Maine and played at JUCO up there. Had a tremendous amount of success and a lot of fun. I rebuilt the confidence that I had in high school, where I was, I had a great junior year in high school. I ended up scoring 1,000 points. I was mentioned in the USA Today for players to watch going into my senior year, and my senior year was quite disappointing. So I lost a lot of confidence going into college with the college that were recruiting me. So I ended up going to a junior college and rebuilding that confidence. And then I finished out at Green Mountain College. At the time, it was a NCAA Division II where they were offering scholarships, and it was a lot of fun. We're playing some of the smaller schools in the area, but we also had a chance to go to Florida and play the University of North Florida, which is now a Division I program. At the time, they were Division II. And that's actually where I realized that it was warm in the wintertime when we went to Jacksonville, Florida. So after college, I packed my car and I moved to Florida because I couldn't stand the cold. And that's probably another reason why I was in the gym so much.
And Mike, talk a little bit. You said losing your confidence. Was that just you put too much pressure on yourself being a senior, or was that the system that was being run your senior season?
Yeah, we were in a very unique situation. We were going into my senior year very highly favored in the state. And one of my big men was very athletic. He got hurt playing football. So he was delayed the start of the season. And my other big man got in a four-wheeler accident.
Hmm.
So it was very tough. A lot fell on my shoulders at the beginning, and it wasn't terrible. I started off the season strong personally. But then as we kind of regrouped together as a team, we lost some games we shouldn't have lost. And for whatever reason, it kind of fell on the seniors' shoulders. And so not a lot of communication going on. It was one of those things where I didn't really know, how to fix it. The other teams kind of knew where I was going, and once they started focusing and taking my shot away, I wasn't able to create. So it was one of those things where it was like, am I as good as I thought I was at that
Yeah.
point? And there wasn't just, there wasn't that help at home, talking me through it. It was just me in my head, and it was a very difficult situation.
Yeah, we'll come back to that because I think it's so important that we grow up, but sometimes we're challenged to mature earlier than I think that we typically should. Hoopculture.com is what you're a part of now. I just want to pull up the website here, and it's pretty fun to watch, and some of your designs is pretty cool. You guys were having a Memorial Day discount. Could you just talk when you see this website, when you look at the sweatshirt hanging off your body, being a part of this? What are the first things that come to mind?
Um, I'm amazed. The love for the game of basketball has taken me on a journey through life where I feel like I wouldn't have been able to get that. Being home, growing up in a small town, nobody in my family ever attended college, but I wanted to play ball, and so I played in college, got a degree, was very successful in college and scholastically, and then beyond. And so I was just all the training and attributes that I got from the game that I fell in love with kind of relates in life, and that hard work and that passion and that dedication to overcome being smaller, just wanting to achieve greatness. I was able to pour into this business, and I've been blessed to be surrounded by so many people that are talented. As you can see in the website, the designs are amazing. We have a tremendous creative director, tremendous team, a lot of resources supporting the brand. It's bigger than me at this point, and which is awesome. We sell in over 80 countries, and we've worked with NBA players as brand ambassadors and beyond influencers. Just every day is a dream come true, and I'm so fortunate to be a part of it at this point. So I'm just thankful.
So, Mike, when you think about your basketball journey, every kid dreams of playing professionally, but now that you get to impact the culture with hoop culture, um, what is still remaining on your bucket list?
Just really seeing this project through. On my bucket list is I'm so fortunate with a beautiful wife and children now. So I feel like I've accomplished the things that I wanted to accomplish in life, except for really seeing hoop culture um, become what I believe it can become. And it's still a ways away probably from that. We're getting closer every day. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year,
Well,
so very thankful, but we have a long ways to go. So I think the only thing on my bucket list now is just seeing this to the end.
and then when you think about this pandemic and things slowing down, you guys have a great online presence. How important was that for you guys to have before we entered this new normal?
Yeah, I mean, we've always been ahead of the curve, and I think a lot of it has timing, right? Like with business being successful, it's a lot of luck, but it's a lot of timing. You have to work hard to create opportunity, and then once you are in business at that right time, we started in the social media game before businesses started in the social media game, so we have almost a 4 million following throughout our channels. So social media we kind of hit first, grassroots basketball we hit first. We were the one pop-up shop out there back in 2010, and now businesses are seeing that grassroots as a valuable asset. And then online we really started to scale our online business. Obviously going into this pandemic, it's our prayers and thoughts go out to those that are affected by it. We've been fortunate to be an online business during these times. Obviously the events have been affected, and our wholesale business has been, but there's far greater people suffering out there that aren't able to do any business at this time. So I think as retailers and big box stores are closing down, we've really been in a position. I remember I was like, I just wanted to get into retail, and now retailers want to get it online.
Yeah.
So everything happens for a reason. We always want what we can't have, and then in the long run, it ends up working out best for us.
Definitely. This is Mike Brown, Hoop Culture, hoopculture.com. This is one of the first designs behind me. I think one of the first, but one of the best sellers. Eat, Sleep, Ball. Who came up with that? And are you surprised? Or how does it make you feel seeing people wearing your clothes?
It's amazing. I mean, it's such an honor to when you see it out there, and especially across the world. And it's one of those things where at the beginning I felt like I was coming up with all the slogans, and our first trademark actually was "This game is my life," and that was our first shirt. And it was hard to really get people to know that it was hoop culture. They just wanted "This Game Is My Life" T-shirts, and that kind of lasted a few years. And then "Eat Sleep Ball" was the next design that we came up with, and then "Ice in My Veins," and now we have 14 trademarks, and they're all very successful. So at the beginning, I felt like I was the creative one coming up with the designs, but more and more often, the younger guys working with us are coming up with those. So I can't take credit for the newer ones.
Hey, so getting back to basketball, did you watch The Last Dance?
I actually did not. I'm kind of saving it. Normally I'm traveling this time of year every single weekend. So I'm always holding things that I want to kind of binge watch on a road trip. That's actually one of them. I mean, I grew up obviously in the era of Michael Jordan near the end of it. And every Sunday looking forward to watching him play. And he's obviously greatness. So I'm excited to see it. Everyone in the world has seen it, and obviously some of our designs have the colorway around it. So we're obviously in the culture of basketball and very aware of what's going on. But me personally, I'm kind of holding out.
So who are the players that you kind of patterned your game after?
Yeah, so Allen Iverson, he was my inspiration. In culture of basketball, how much can you get around Allen Iverson and the culture of basketball? So I feel like that really sculpted who I was as a player. I was smaller. Obviously, I wanted to go play point guard at Georgetown until I went to like Hoop Mountain Camp, and I realized I wasn't that great. Growing up in a small town, we're so fortunate to think that we're the best in the world, and then when you go out and you go to a camp where all the elite players are there, you're like, well, maybe my expectations are a little low. But Allen Iverson for sure was an inspiration. I kind of wish Steph Curry was around back then because I was a shooter, and so I think my game would have even been stronger if I wasn't trying to dribble past everybody and be like Allen Iverson and try to work on a mid-range game. But he was my inspiration. I remember studying him in second grade, doing reports and everything about him, everything.
So were you a Sixers fan growing up, or did you just study players more so than teams?
Yeah, still to this day. I mean, I think maybe growing up in Vermont, where we don't have a lot of teams around us.
Right.
Obviously, you have New York and Boston, but I was very secluded to my small town. Like I said, we didn't have much getting out of there. So it was more players, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson. But the 76ers, I remember getting shorts and jerseys. I became a fan of the 76ers because of Allen Iverson. But yeah, that was my inspiration growing up. I mean, I just loved how he could just do so much amazing things with the ball.
Now, if you could go back in your high school days, what's one thing that you would change? Meaning, if you had a genie in a bottle, would you make yourself 6'7"? Would you make yourself 250 and built like LeBron? What's something that you think you would have benefited from if God had given you those genes?
Geez, that's a good question, Jeff. I haven't thought about it too much. I remember, years after high school, I used to just have all these dreams that I could go back and just play again, and just have another opportunity. So if I was a genie in a bottle, I would just go back as I am, and just get another shot at my senior year, and just be able to rectify, the mental things that I was going through. I just wanted an opportunity to do that again because, to be quite honest, that college basketball was awesome, but it was small. Junior college, small. Green Mountain was small, but my high school was like everybody in high school was there watching you play. It was crazy. The gym was packed. That was really, yeah, where I fell in love with the game, and I would love another opportunity to go back. Obviously, now I don't have those dreams anymore. Thankfully, I've grown up, but that I would just want to go back and hoop again.
It's funny how you say that. I interviewed Chad Copeland, who played at Twinfield and then played at Castleton, small town, Vermont. And he said high school games were packed out in Vermont. It's certainly a community event. And then he said he would hit the road at Castleton and there'd be like 15 fans in the stands. And you really had to generate your own energy to get up for those games. On that note, how do you generate your own energy, drive, passion when there's days like this where you just look out and it's different. People aren't getting out and doing what they've always done. What really motivates you, that pushes you, drives you?
Yeah, we actually played Castleton too. So I played in front of those 15 fans, and they're brutal, by the way. Like they will tear your head off, those 15 fans. But I know that lifestyle, and obviously for me, it's all about success and winning. It's different reasons these days. My drive for success and winning, but that desire never goes away. So I don't want to lose. And I think in business, it just really, you have to have more wins than losses. And so every day you just fight for that win. You're always thinking about it. It never stops. It's 24/7. How can I win tomorrow? How can I win today? So that desire to win for me, and fear of failure, really hits home. And I just that's my drive. I just don't
Hmm.
want to fail in anything. So every day I'm just grinding as hard as I can.
That's awesome, Mike. Hey, this is a shirt, one of my favorites, Trace. And I have to, I love how it's like this because my kids make fun of me. I don't know if I'm old with arthritis. I cannot do a three. My fingers are all jacked up. So I'm always in three. So whether it's in church and it's my third point or basketball three. And I love that. You mentioned Steph Curry, the 3-point shot. I would have liked back in the day because my coach would have seen I was trying to emulate a player in the NBA. My coach only thought I was trying to be a hot dog and show off jacking threes from 35 feet or whatever happens. How has the 3-point shot changed the game? And for you as a fan, does it bring greater joy for you for the game of basketball?
Of course, I live and die by the 3-point shot. I will pass up a layup to take a three. I feel like I have a better percentage making a three than a layup, to be completely honest. So I've really enjoyed the game transforming, watching the Warriors, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, just pass the ball around and just hit threes from deep, and Harden just banging threes. For me, it's pure enjoyment because it hits home. That's the way I live, is by the three. The trays, the original design was my fingers. I remember texting a picture and being like, "Hey, we got to do this." Obviously, that design is an upgraded version of it, but the game has really evolved since I grew up watching it, and it's for me, it's far more enjoyable. I'm sure there's a lot of controversy out there in that regard, because I still go to all these basketball tournaments. I still see people playing the game, and there's not a lot of shooters out there. So I'm sure they're furious that the 3-pointer and shooting is really taking over the game. But it's exciting for me to watch.
Well, I always said that it's more embarrassing to miss a layup than it is a 3-point shot. So I'd rather pull up on a break with a three. Mike, talk about your teammates, whether it's high school, college, a place you've played summer league tournaments with. How important is it that you have chemistry with your teammates?
Yeah, like I said, basketball was a way for me to feel acceptance. So teammates have always been the most enjoyable part of the process. Being able to go on road trips, being able to train with them. So I've been very fortunate through high school, through college, to be able to play with some great people that are lifelong friends. And so that experience, I think, when I was first starting out, I would just tell kids, like, just go to college. If you're going to try to take a break before college, you might get stuck, but in college you can figure it out. And that's one of those things where I feel like you build relationships with your teammates. And it's so unique because we all want to have those friends that we can count on, and teammates in sports is more so than that. I mean, you can always depend on them. So it was a huge integral part of my life and my enjoyment for the game, is having those players around me. Even though you could train by yourself and get better, there's nothing like diving on the floor and having your teammates pick you up, and just that aspiration that comes around it. Even in business here, we have our starting five, we have our team, and we never lose that aspect of it, because individually we're not as strong as we can be together. So it's important to have a good team around you.
No doubt. Mike Brown of Hoop Culture, hoopculture.com. We'll just pull up this page once more so they can find that. You guys have some great designs, and as you said, some of the Bulls colors right now after the last dance, but some great designs, and there is places where you can post on social, and so it's a great way to get involved and be a part of what hoop culture is doing. Mike, I'll get you out on this question. Basketball, being a husband, a dad, how much time do you get to go out and play now these days?
You're gonna make me cry because it's not. I try to play when before the COVID came, like Monday nights maybe at my church, but it's rare. I remember I was getting into 24-hour fitness and playing as much as I can. And my wife looked at me like I was crazy because we had an infant at home. And I'll tell you that when you have an infant at home, there's nothing else you want to do than go play basketball. It's a blessing to have children, and I love them so much. They've changed my life, but getting a break to go to the sanctuary is what I desire to do. I think that's one of the motivational factors for me too in this life, in this business, where I'm so fortunate to be around basketball so much. And my dream is to have a facility where we have a court. We used to have one in the back here, a little half court, and we outgrew that. So I want to get that back and be able to hoop every day, and and just be able to do that before it's too old. Luckily, I'm a shooter, not a slasher, so I feel like my game will be like Jason Kidd and just go on for as long as I want it to go on. But we'll see. But I wish I could play a lot more, but I don't play at all now, so don't make me cry.
Well, keep getting shots up when you can. I know for us, we have a little portable basketball hoop, gravel driveway, but we called it our yard time, like we were in prison for the first few weeks of this pandemic of, well, we need to get outside and do something. So it'd be a little bit snowy out back in Vermont, not the warmth of Florida. And we just had to get shots up, but there's something about it. It is a freeing space that I certainly love. But Mike, thanks so much for making the time and being a part.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you, and I've known you for a really long time now, and I am a big fan, and keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for having me on the show.
Definitely, Mike. We'll talk to you again soon. And again, that's Mike Brown. You are listening to Jay Fuller Interviews. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You guys have a great rest of your day, and subscribe on YouTube at Jay Fuller Interviews, and just share with others. Some great interviews coming up. Coach Tommy Brennan tomorrow, Coach Kevin O'Neill, and Jeff Pearlman coming up on Friday. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.